everybody, and welcome to another episode of Insufficient Friends. I'm Kevin. She is Nikki.
Hi.
And, Nick, I'm a little tired. You're a little tired. Well,
yeah.
You told me you fell asleep on your sofa
nap,
on your way.
Yeah.
Or before you came over. Not on the way. That'd be weird. You could take a nap on your sofa on the way here. That would be odd.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's I'm a little tired because it's late and on a Friday, and it's been a long day. So we'll see how many yawns we get out of this episode.
Yeah.
How was your week?
It was good. Highs and lows, like every working person week.
Yeah.
I did notice, like I'm really excited for when we do a Tortured Poets Department episode soon.
Yeah, I still have to listen to that.
Because I've been listening to it like crazy, of course. And I relate so hard to I Can Do It With a Broken Heart, because there's a part that's like, I cry a lot, but I am so productive. And I was like, I have never resonated with the line more. I literally cried at my keyboard this week. And then, 2 hours later, I'm fine. I was just really frustrated, and I cry when I get mad, which is not helpful.
I think that's a relatively common thing, though. Like, I think a lot of people...
I was so mad, I was, like, shaking, and then I just started crying. But I was still, like, working, and I'm like, that's what she means. So that was my week, but the rest of it was fine.
Okay. I have to listen to that still for that episode, because it's a double album, isn't it? It's like 30 songs or something like that.
Yeah, and it's really good. It's worth it. So I think we're doing a whole episode on it.
Yeah, we're gonna
2 weeks from
do
now?
something on it. So
yeah,
I've got to listen to that too. That's my task for the next week or 2 weeks or whatever it is. So that'll be fun. Yeah. I mean, the last album was pretty good. I mean,
because you and Stevie listened to it, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was not as much of my pace because it was a little slow for me, but
Yeah. This one has so it's like you have to do an initial read through, and I know we're going to talk about this later, but you have to listen to it like twice. You can get a grasp of it.
I don't know I got time for that.
You have 2 weeks.
Yeah, I still don't know that I got time for that.
It's good though. Okay. Well, I've listened to it multiple times, so I've got us covered.
Well, that doesn't surprise me at all.
Yeah.
You, Stevie, listening to it multiple times, that doesn't surprise me at all.
But how was your week?
It was fine.
Yeah.
Kind of the same. It was I didn't work quite as many hours this week, which was nice. I had a day off in the middle of the not a day off. I had one job off in the middle of the week. I still worked the other one, which is 8 hours. So I still worked 65 hours this week, but it was nice to not have to do.
Do you prefer, when you're working both jobs, I know one's part-time, but like your full hours, so you can like get the paycheck, or do you prefer to have some time off like you did this week? Not time off, but like a couple hours at least.
Yeah. The paycheck's always nice.
Yeah.
Because the extra money, is always plus.
Yeah.
I guess it kind of depends. It's kind of a mix. It depends on the week. Like sometimes it's like I'm fine going, 70, 75 hours. It's whatever.
I'm sure if you're not feeling well,
but if you're tired or anything, sometimes, especially if you're like doing a bunch of days in a row, it just kind of drags.
Yeah.
So it just depends on the week. But this week wasn't that bad. It went by relatively quickly, and there wasn't anything too crazy that happened. So I know it's graduation week at Mizzou, which is
I didn't even think about that.
where we're located. So I'm sure downtown is a cluster F.
I'm going out of town for Mother's Day, so
yeah, I don't blame you.
I also don't really go downtown anymore now that I'm not working in person.
I don't go downtown ever. For
the closest
anything.
I get is the Starbucks that's way down Broadway. Not even close to downtown, just on the same street that eventually goes downtown.
Yeah. I don't know. I can only remember ever getting something from Starbucks once. Mm-hmm. And it was a tea, because I'm not a coffee person. They have
an amazing lavender matcha right now, and I am loving it. I actually haven't had one in a week and a half, which for me is a long time. But because I make my matcha at home most days since I'm home now.
Yeah, you work from
But-
home. Yeah, it makes sense.
Oh my God, that lavender matcha is so good. And one of my friends called it double dirt. I can't remember if I told you
Double
this
dirt?
or if I said this before. Yeah, so she was like, lavender comes from the ground.
Yeah.
Matcha comes from the ground.
Yeah.
You're just drinking dirt. And I was
mean,
like, well,
Basically.
it tastes really good.
Yeah, I mean... Yeah, I mean, a lot of things come from the dirt, though. So do potatoes, and I love potato chips and french fries. So, you know, like...
Potatoes are my favorite part of the food pyramid.
Vegetable? Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't think you
So
can...
good.
Vegetable? I don't think you can actually call them...
Yeah.
I don't know what... They're starch. I don't know what they classify them as is on the food pyramid, which the food pyramid is all a joke anyway. It's a fallacy,
know.
so...
Yeah.
It,
I know. Everything like that is just
yeah, it's...
not propaganda. I don't know the right word for it, but yeah.
we can call it propaganda. That works, too.
Anyways, that was a tangent.
yeah, so,
do you have any shout outs this week?
There it goes. I hit the wrong button. I mean, the moms. Mom. Love you, Mom. Happy Mother's Day.
And mom adjacent. Like,
Yes.
all the aunts. Like, shout out to Aunt Cindy.
Yes.
She was like a second mom to me.
Moms,
All the
stepmoms.
The rainbow moms.
Yes.
that
Every mom.
lost moms who want to be a mom but can't. We celebrate all of you this
Yes.
weekend.
Happy Mother's Day to
Yes.
everyone that is a mom or mom adjacent.
Yes, I love that.
Yes.
And then also, shout out to my brother Nathan. His birthday is today. Well, not when this episode comes out. But
When we're recording?
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, happy birthday, Nathan.
Happy birthday, Nathan.
How old's Nathan?
He is 24.
24.
Which is
Okay.
wild. I love being an older sister, but it's also one of the hardest things because when he gets older, I get older.
Tends to be how time works, yes.
And I don't like it. But I've also loved seeing him grow up. And in high school, he was a little iffy, and he annoyed me a lot with some of his choices. But
Yeah, my little brother did
I
that all the
love
time.
seeing him grow up. So
Yeah, I mean, my little brother annoyed me all the time. But,
Yeah.
you know, it's a part of
Yeah.
being a sibling, I think.
yes, and
Um,
I love being a sibling. I'm so glad because it's like a built-in best friend. Because we've been close. I know not every sibling relationship is perfect or
Yeah.
anything, but
Everybody has their things, so
Yeah.
it just is what it is. But,
yeah.
yeah, so
Any other shout-outs?
I don't think so. Nobody's been commenting. Why haven't you guys been commenting? I tried to use the force last week, and that didn't work.
No, it didn't.
I tried to threaten you the week before that. That didn't work. So now I'm
We've
just going to
gotten
start.
several likes. There are plenty of people that like things but just don't comment. So maybe we just
Okay.
need to do something different. I don't know.
Okay.
Maybe this
Well, I'm just going to
week-
start whining then. Why aren't you guys liking, commenting? Why?
Maybe this week we'll get some comments because I'm actually really excited for what we decided to do for our episode today and go through the stories. So maybe
Yeah.
we'll get some comments on these.
We'll
because
see.
Some of these are like, I would have some comments on them.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I mean, it's from Reddit, so
Yeah.
it's all about it's
Yeah,
just
literally.
all about comments is what it is. So anyway, what are we doing, Nick?
So, and if you have any kids listening, we are going to say a bad word. But we are reading the Am I the Asshole threads from Reddit and some of the not necessarily super wild, just stories that I read through and picked out. And I'm like, just what are they thinking? You know, type of thing. So
Hey, I got a bleep button. We can use that.
it's too late. I already said it.
Yeah, well, you know, I've got it on standby now, so whenever you say it again, we're good to go.
Okay.
I forget some of the things that are on this thing because it's
There's a
all
lot,
Yeah, I loaded a bunch of them on here. and
Just
it's-
fair warning, if
Yeah.
any children are listening, that's the only bad word we'll say. But yeah, so I'll dive right into it.
Yeah,
so
let's go.
I just have 3.
Okay.
And then we can discuss
Yes.
after each one.
Yes, you are the asshole.
And when I say when we can discuss,
I said it and forgot to hit the button.
it doesn't work if you do it after.
Yeah, well, you know, we've talked about how we're not good at this, so
I know. But we also means you, our viewers. So if you have comments, comment.
comment, please.
Or it's fine. We like
Yeah.
talking to ourselves, clearly. So
Oh, yeah, I mean,
we're doing
what else
okay.
what else was this for?
Okay, so here's the first one. Am I the asshole for not wanting... I'm already so past it.
I wasn't expecting it. Sorry.
It's the title.
Well, warn me next time. 3,
Okay.
2, 1, something. I don't know.
Am I the for not wanting my mother-in-law in the house? So this is a mother-in-law story.
Okay. I'm going to start by saying no, but we'll see if that changes going forward.
So my mother-in-law lives alone.
Mm-hmm.
She's healthy. She's older but healthy. She can cook for herself daily. She cleans. She also has a lady to help her clean each week. My relationship has never been the best with her, especially during there's some typos in this, especially during the first 4 to 5 years of marriage and birthing my son.
Mm-hmm.
She was very into our business and always looked at the stuff my husband got me and basically wanted to know my whereabouts all the time, just very controlling. Also, when I started working, my son was 3, and she expressed worries, those are in quotes, about me getting a nanny to help with attending to my son, claiming that we were neglectful parents by getting a nanny, and that parents should always be by their children's side at a young age, aka I should have stayed home longer and not gone back to work. So that's the first part. And she says, or this, Redditor says, so the relationship's not the best, but lately she's been expressing how lonely she is and wants to live in our house. My husband asked me, but I told him how terrible for everyone that would be. However, she's been pressuring him, and he in return is opening this conversation up a lot. I cannot have her in the house. I will not be uncomfortable in my own home, my own space, and I won't feel like I have any privacy whatsoever.
Yeah.
Get it? I feel the same.
Yeah.
About anyone, like staying for an extended... I love having guests, but not like
you don't
more than
want
a week
like
or
stay.
something.
Yeah, you don't want somebody
that's
living
pushing
with
it.
you though.
Yeah. So she continues and says, yes, we have more than enough space for her, but that's not the problem. She will not stay in her room the whole day. No matter how much my husband tries to convince me she will stay in her room all day, I know that's not going to happen, which, no one's going to stay in her room all day.
No. They shouldn't be expected to stay in a room all day either. Like, that's not
exactly.
a feasible thing.
Also, her diet is completely different than all of us. So if she cooks for herself, either us or her will have late meals and the schedule will just be all messed up. I'm refusing to compromise because I refuse to be uncomfortable in my house. And then the last paragraph here. I told my husband she could get a nearby place so we could visit her often, even 24/7, or close to 24/7. It's not going to be 24/7, but she says 24/7 in this. But living with us is a big no-no for me, and I will not have this. He says that I'm selfish, and maybe I am, but it's also selfish for her to expect to be in our company all the time on our expense. Being lonely is not enough of an excuse to invade someone's comfort. She could get a dog. She could live nearer to my husband and I so we could visit more. And in my opinion, that's a compromise. Telling me to give up my comfort in my home is not compromise.
Okay.
I have a lot of thoughts. What are your initial thoughts?
So, me and my dad have talked about this, and I've made this comment on the podcast.
Yeah, because I know we talked about like the nursing home and stuff.
Because
Yeah.
he's going to a home.
Yeah.
He already knows this.
And this
We've
lady
discussed
is
this.
not, she's healthy.
And she's healthy.
It's just
So
a lonely
this
thing.
is the thing.
I think
This
the
is
health
difference.
thing is different.
But
yeah, I
it
see
goes
where
to
you're
the
going.
same idea from the start is my dad's thought and I know everybody's different cultures, different people, like different cultures are different on how they deal with this kind of stuff, and I get that. That's fine. Our theory or our thought process on it is my dad raised me to raise my kids or whatever, to raise their kids, Yep. It's not he didn't raise me to raise him and my kid. Like, that's not how it goes. Yeah. It goes down the line. Yeah. And there is no going back. Yeah.
And that's not to say I would never help my parents. I mean, right now my grandparents are in a nursing home. They're 40 minutes away, but I drive there quite often. Yeah. Like I'll just a couple or last weekend, I got my grandpa's favorite muffins from Aldi because he loves the banana nut ones, and they're only in stock some of the time. Yeah. Because it's like rotating. So I got him and I brought him to him. You know, it's 40 minutes away. It's a long drive,
Yeah.
long-ish, not that long, but
That's a commute for some people.
Yeah.
So.
And so, like, I'm not saying that I would never make the time, especially for my parents, since I'm already doing it with my grandparents and my grandma before. But it's different when it's just she's lonely.
Yeah, and also, like...
I'm like, I would compromise with literally anything else.
Yeah.
We could literally build a tiny home in the backyard. Even that would be better than like you living in the space.
Yeah. And I agree with that. Like, it's, you don't want to.
And if I'm older and lonely, I'm going to go live in an assisted living or complex so I can like go to bingo or something.
Other people
I'm not going to invade. Yeah. You know, like if we have kids, I'm not going to automatically think, oh, my first move is to move in with them.
Yeah. Well, you're not going to.
I'd probably go to an assisted
living. They're not going to want to do.
Yeah.
Like, they're not going to want to spend all their time with you, one.
Yeah.
And two, they shouldn't have to. They should have their own lives.
I want them to want to be with me, not be forced.
Not be forced. Yeah. And also, the biggest problem with this whole thing, and again, we're only seeing this from one side, which I get. Yeah. We're not seeing it
just
from
like all these stories.
All these stories are one-sided, so I get that. But my biggest problem with that story was the nanny thing, and saying that you're not a good mother because you go get a nanny. Like,
and go
a
back
lot
to
of people
work. Like, really?
Can't not go back to work, so they have to do something like that. That's a thing to say right there.
I think so too. And that one I can't, even though we're only seeing the one side, I don't even see the other point of view and like where the mother-in-law could be coming from with that criticism. But
because, like,
all in all, I think the answer is if you're lonely, fend for yourself. I don't know. Your family should want to come visit you and do things like that because they like spending time with you, not because you forced your way into like their.
Exactly. So,
like,
Redditor,
we visit all our family all the time.
Redditor, whoever you are, don't know who you are, but no, you are not the.
Yep, I agree.
So I was right on my original assumption.
Yeah. Plus, I mean, there was compromise there. The wife is like, we could do this, we could do this. We can move her closer to us, help her move. You know, live down the street, basically, is what she's making it sound like. So it's not like she just said no and didn't offer any help or anything like that. So.
Yeah. So. Yep,
I also declare that not the asshole. Thanks.
No problem.
That was the first one.
Here to hit the buttons.
So.
So my whole job.
The second, am I the...
I wonder if YouTube, like, I know YouTube has some weird things with cursing and things. I don't know.
But I feel like I've seen other people reading these on YouTube.
Yeah. I don't know how it works. Like, I've never really paid attention that much to it. So
it's not like we have that many viewers anymore.
Well, we also don't make money. So
exactly.
I think the number one thing they do is demonetize them. So
so you can't get money from like ads and stuff. Well, we don't do that anyway.
Which we don't do that anyway because, you know, we're
this is a hobby that like 5 people listen to us. So.
On a good day.
Yeah. So. Yeah. Okay. So, second story. Am I the asshole for not helping my brother regain our inheritance? So, I, 33 male, have 3 siblings, Jane, Jack, and Sophie. They're all really close in age. Recently, our maternal grandmother, Mabel, passed away. My parents cut her off nearly a decade ago, as my mother never had a great relationship with her due to emotional abuse she suffered in childhood. Not too long after that, my siblings and I went to low/no contact with her as well, in particular because of her racist tendencies, knowing full well I have a diverse friend group and family. Roughly 5 years ago, Mabel realized she couldn't take care of herself anymore, and I learned through my extended family that despite her significant savings, she refused to go to a nursing home or retirement home because of the foreigners that work there, which... It's 2024, but that's okay.
Good Lord. Okay.
So that's the first part. So this Redditor continues. My mother had completely burnt all bridges with Mabel. So Mabel tried guilt-tripping me and my siblings into taking care of her. Jane, Jack, and I refused quickly, but Sophie broke down. And Sophie was the youngest sibling. If I'm being candid, Sophie has the tendency to be a bit of a pushover, which is why Mabel probably got to her fairly easily. So for the past 5 years, Sophie has been living with Mabel and looking after her, and only receiving a very stingy paycheck each week. When Mabel passed, we learned that in her will, she left some money to my mother, but the majority of her savings and her sizable house to Sophie. Her savings were significant, amounting to the high six figures. I felt that it was only right that Sophie received a hefty inheritance, as did Jane and our parents.
Yeah.
But Jack disagreed. Jack is the middle sibling. He thinks that it's only right that the 4 of us receive an equal inheritance.
Nah.
And is trying to pressure Sophie. I wholeheartedly think the opposite, for a few reasons. Number 1, despite the person she was, Mabel had the right to grant her inheritance to whoever she desired. Number 2, Sophie put up with her for 5 years and deserves the world for that. Many times I check in with her and she looked about to crumble, constantly under emotional duress. It was a very tough time. Jane agrees with me, another one of the siblings, but refused to speak to Jack at all, as she shut him down pretty quickly. The reason I'm asking this here is because I'm in a pretty good position financially. I'm by no means flying off to Europe multiple times a year, but I'm stable, so an inheritance wouldn't benefit me that much, whereas it would Sophie. Jack, on the other hand, was recently laid off, downsized his apartment, and is currently living, got downsized in his department, and is currently living with our parents while he gets back on his feet. Am I the asshole?
No.
I agree.
No. If the one girl took care of this person for several years,
Yeah.
and then then that was her. That's like her. Mm-hmm. I don't really want to say reward, but reward. Like that's kind of what it is at this point.
Especially since it says it doesn't.
If everybody stopped talking to the old lady, then yeah.
Why do you deserve an inheritance?
No,
yeah.
You don't. No, you don't deserve.
Yeah, and especially because it says that, and it doesn't give an amount, but it says
high six figures is what you said.
Well, yeah, the inheritance was high 6 figures, but the paycheck each week for taking care of Mabel was stingy. I did hear that. Yeah. So, yeah, I agree. I think that if everyone else disowned this lady because she was a racist, which rightly so, I do the same thing.
Get that.
But then I would not go back and ask for an inheritance.
No.
I don't deserve it.
Yeah.
I didn't do anything.
Yeah.
And so I'm assuming that this Jack in the story, it's not the real names, but Jack is needing it because of his financial situation.
Which,
because he's desperate.
Yeah. I mean, I get.
So.
Everybody has times when they need help.
But just because,
but that doesn't
Sophie
mean that
is
anything changed. Like
a nice person. Could be a pushover. It sounds like because she did give in and agree to do it. The brother clearly knows that.
But that means she deserves.
And is taking advantage.
Yeah, but that means she deserves the inheritance. Like
exactly. Yeah. So that was that one, and I wholeheartedly agree.
She took 5 years of her life to take care of somebody. Yeah. Like that's.
Yeah.
Yeah. No. No. You are not the.
I agree. Yeah, and everyone in the comments agreed too. There was one person that said, Sophie's a pushover, so she should grow a spine. But I still don't think that Jack is entitled to inheritance. So it seems like even though a lot of people think that, Sophie probably shouldn't have given in and taken care of this grandmother. I mean, the brother's the asshole in the situation. So, okay. Yeah.
By the way, before we go too far into this, Mabel's an old. I don't think we're making Mabel's anymore.
No.
I don't think Mabel's are being produced anymore.
I like the name. I think it's pretty.
It's a nice name. Mm-hmm. It's just that's not a. I don't think that's being.
It sounds like a name
anymore.
That should be on like a baking line or something like Mabel's chocolate chip cookie mix.
Yeah, something like that. But also on the other, just entirely random other thing with all the beeps and things.
Yeah.
So we're just gonna put this out in the open because I'm gonna figure it out. So our podcasting hosting service does have a checkbox in there that says explicit content.
Oh,
Do
does
we
it?
check that box for this or no?
I don't know. That's a good question. Maybe.
Because we did this.
Because, like, okay, if I had a kid, I wouldn't mind them listening to this kind of stuff. But I know some people are really protective of, like, the things they hear and whatever.
Which each to their own. That's fine.
Yeah, it's however you want to raise your kid.
Yeah.
I personally would not do that, but I don't know.
No, we'll figure it out.
I would say if we feel like we have to beep some stuff, then yeah.
I mean, I'm
Right?
not doing very good with the beeping, but sure.
Oh, you're sucking at it. Sorry.
I mean, you're not wrong.
You're doing great, sweetie.
Oh,
Sorry.
good
I
Lord.
should be a better co-host. You got a lot of pressure with that board. There's a lot of lights on there that I don't understand, so I shouldn't criticize.
But anyway, yeah, I will figure it out, I guess, and you'll know when you watch this.
It's hard. You don't know when I'm gonna say the word. So I wonder if like other people when they are like bleeping out words, do they do it in editing?
I think so. Yeah, you mark it and then
Oh.
you do it later. Yeah.
Then you're doing great.
Or
You're fine.
if you're doing it live, a lot of anymore they all have a dump button, and what it is it's just a big red button. Basically, it depends on what it is, but everything. Most things that you see live aren't live, and this
Aren't
is
they,
going
like,
into
slightly
the television.
delayed?
It's like anywhere from 7 to 10 to a minute delay.
Okay, that's
And
what
what they do is if they do mess up and say something, they hit this button and it cuts the feed from the like actual air point, and it cuts everything up to where they said it, up to where they are talking now. So like that 60 seconds is just
gone.
blank.
Okay.
Which is why if you ever hear like a radio station or something like that where you hear like 30 seconds or something of just dead air where it's just like in the middle of them talking and all of a sudden it just cuts and then it starts back up again, like it seems odd.
That's why.
Sometimes they'll mention it and say like, oh, we said a bad word, we had to jump out of that. But
that's what I figured. I knew
that's
there was
how it works,
kind of a slight delay because I'm like, how can they bleep that out that fast?
I mean, if you're really talented, you can, but you have to
You have to be able to super anticipate what people are saying.
Well, it's not that. You can use that same delay and then have somebody that's paying attention and they know when it's coming and they can do it just in that instance. But usually
We're not
marked.
that advanced.
Usually it's marked and put it away, but and done in post. But it just kind of depends.
Yeah.
I'm just fooling around, messing around. Yeah, I'm just kind of having fun.
Yeah, I guess we probably should
Yeah.
mark it as
We probably will.
explicit. Because usually we do a really good job. We don't say anything
Yeah,
bad
yeah, and
on purpose. I
Yeah.
try really hard to censor myself because
I
this is
mean-
not how I normally talk.
yeah, no.
As soon as we, I almost said hang up as if it's like on a phone call.
Yeah.
As soon as we wrap, like recording, I automatically switch back to my normal.
Yeah. I mean, this is
patterns.
like, this is how I normally act. This is not different than me. I'm going to say that now. I'm an idiot most of the time.
Oh,
But-
yeah. Personality wise, I agree.
Yeah, but
I'm the same.
I do use a lot more colorful language off of
That's a
this.
good way to put
off
it.
of this podcast.
I use a rainbow language.
Yeah. All colors.
Yeah.
Roy G. Bv.
Okay.
Well, they took out the indigo, didn't they?
Oh, they did?
I don't think indigo they consider a color anymore, or it's so close to violet or something.
That's
I thought they
weird.
did that several years ago.
How dare they mess up the acronym?
I don't know. They also took away Pluto, so like
Didn't it come back?
I don't think so.
Oh, poor Pluto. I thought it came back.
No, I don't think so. It's still like dwarf planet X Y 24,000 something. I don't know,
baby.
something like that. I don't think so.
Just made me sad.
I mean, people still call it Pluto. Like I still call
Yeah.
it Pluto. Like
Well, yeah, of course. I could have sworn I read that they made it a planet again.
I don't know. Maybe they did at some point. I don't remember.
Maybe I
that.
dreamed that because I felt so bad
I
for
felt
it.
so bad for Pluto.
This is why I cry at everything. I can't help myself.
Oh, man. Okay, so next.
Okay, ready
next
for the
one.
last?
Sure, let's go.
Am I the story? That was really good. Good job. Snaps.
When did this, by the way, when did this start? Like,
I don't know. We did it in my sorority. Because we had like so many people that if you clapped, it was so loud and obnoxious. So
yeah, but that's part of clapping. Like, that's just what it is.
yeah.
I mean, yeah, it's just part of clapping.
But we did it like, so like if we were in a meeting and someone said a point you agreed with, you would snap or something like that. Or if
Okay,
someone
so it's
got
more of
like an award.
it's more of like
It's a way to maintain.
composure.
We
and
followed
stuff like, that, yeah.
strict Robert's Rules of Orders. And so to keep the meetings on track, because when you have that many people, it's massive.
Yeah.
So that's when I started it. I don't know when other people started
Okay.
doing that.
I don't know.
Anyways.
Anyway.
Okay. Am I the asshole for bringing up my brother's premature birth at Christmas dinner to get my parents to shut up? I like this story. It's funny. Okay. So
This should be interesting.
I know.
Okay.
I like this one. Okay. I am a nurse practitioner, and I am the primary care provider for a lot of the low-risk maternity cases at the practice where I work. I also work hand in hand with the doctors and midwives to create a healthy maternity, birth, and postpartum situation. My fiance is completing her residency. We live together and have for a few years now. We aren't in any hurry to get married. We originally had plans to do so a couple years ago, but just got really busy for 2 years. It's driving my very religious parents crazy that their youngest son is living in sin. Relatable. I also went through that. I don't really care. I'm an adult. I do what I want. We're getting married in June. So.
Congrats. Congrats.
So.
Congrats on the nuptials to come.
Yeah.
Or after, if you're listening to this ever. Like,
Yeah,
you aren't ever
after.
listening to this. So, you know.
This is probably an old story. Oh, yeah, 2021. So they're married by now.
So congratulations on the nuptials from, I guess congratulations on the 3-year anniversary.
Yeah, I know. Oh, my. That's weird.
2021? Yeah, that's what you said, right?
I still feel like it's like 2005. But anyway,
Definitely
so.
not 2005. I don't want to go back
says-
to high school. I was in high school in 2005, so.
I was in high school in 2012, 2011 to 20. I graduated in 2015. Anyways, so they're getting married in June. So we are visiting my parents for Christmas, so like the Christmas before the wedding. The way it came together this year, everyone is at my parents' house. So that's my folks, my 3 siblings, and my fiance, and 7 grandchildren. So 17 people total. At dinner, I know that is a lot of people. At dinner, my mom starts going on about how she is so glad that we are finally getting married and she won't be embarrassed at church anymore. And my dad says how proud he is of his 3 older kids who all either waited to get married before moving in together or got married right away after moving in together. My fiance was getting embarrassed and I was getting mad over this argument that we'd had too many times. Mm-hmm. Yeah. And this family dinner was the last straw. I have asked them repeatedly to just accept what they cannot control and how I live my life. I refuse to stay with them, even when I visit, even if I'm alone. Hotels are just easier. So
I get that.
Yeah. Yeah. My parents are great. We stay with them all the time, but I get the hotels are easier part when you have parents like this.
I have a story about that I'll tell you here in a minute.
Do you? Okay. So at this dinner, I started talking about a premature baby I had been reading about. It was 3 months premature, weighed about 1.6 pounds. It was super strong and healthy for being born so little, and the NICU had high hopes for the baby doing well. My mom and dad both got deer in the headlights look on their faces. Too bad. Should not have effed around. I'm not even going to say the word. I'm just going to say effed around. They should not have effed around with my fiance's feelings. So I asked about my oldest brother. He was born almost 4 months premature. I asked, is there a chance we could check out the family album where we keep all the records of family births? I'd love to look through them. I already knew in the back of my head my brother was over 9 pounds and 23 inches long when he was born. My grandmother had told me all about it the first time my parents tried to shame me about this. The subject got changed very fast.
Oh, I see. I see. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
After supper, my parents told me that I should try not to embarrass them with private things that are not my concern. I told them that if I heard anything about my living arrangements ever again for the rest of my life, I would make sure to keep bringing up the fact, and fact is in all caps, that my mom was in her second trimester when they got married. My parents are mad at me for telling them how to behave in their own home, but my fiance is happy that they seem to be off the subject for good.
Good for you.
Am I the asshole?
No.
Yep, a resounding no from the crowd.
Yes. No. No.
That
no.
one is,
no. No.
I
no.
think my biggest pet peeve is hypocrites in
I get that.
any sense, whether you're religious, not religious, whether it's about politics, whether it's about just daily life things.
Yeah.
That's my biggest pet peeve. And I will call myself out on it sometimes because I annoy myself if I'm
Yeah.
being hypocritical, and I'll call myself out on it. Like, I know I'm being hypocritical right now, but whatever. But that is like my biggest pet peeve, when people do that and don't
Yeah.
realize it or just refuse to
Acknowledge it.
Yeah, acknowledge it. Yep.
So a couple
So.
things.
Yeah.
One, yeah, don't be a hypocrite. Like things happen. Like don't just acknowledge it if you are. If you do something like maybe you don't realize it or something, whatever. But anyway, try not to be a hypocrite, because that's really obnoxious. Anyway, two, again, me and my dad have talked about this before too. Is it like, I think you have to live with somebody before you get married, because you don't really know what somebody's like
agree.
until you live with them.
Yeah.
Like if you can go home and be separated, you don't know what their entire life is like outside of this, until you like are actually forced to be together all the time.
Yes. So, and then we'll continue on with your other thoughts, but I want to say there was a study a couple years ago that people reference, and it found that people who live together before marriage have a higher divorce rate. And so a bunch of people were quoting that article.
I agree with that. Yeah.
No, it came out to be that this research study only had like 10 participants and was paid for by a religious organization.
Okay, that makes sense.
So it was not a real study.
Yeah.
But people to this day still quote that.
Well, people.
That's another one of my pet peeves, is citing things that are not facts.
Yeah. People quote a lot of things that aren't facts.
And like how we do our fun facts, and we're like, that might not even be true because it came from Google.
Yeah.
But it's still fun to like go through different fun facts.
Yeah.
But when people are like citing different things and saying, well, actually this study, supports my argument. And I'm like, did you look at who ran the study? How many participants there were?
Yeah.
So that's another one of my pet peeves. So I wholeheartedly agree. Casey and I lived together for basically 2.5 years, a year and a half before we got engaged.
Okay.
And then it was another year exactly till we got married, because we did everything on our anniversary. And I would not trade that for the world.
Yeah.
We never really argue or anything because we're really good at communicating. But even if I don't know, I still wouldn't trade that for anything, because I think it helped us build such a strong foundation that set us up to have a really good marriage.
Yeah.
So I agree. But yeah. I just remember reading that study and thinking that is weird, and then it came out that this was not a real study.
Yeah. So on to the hotel.
Oh, yeah.
So I've made fun of my dad for years. Because I used to more stay in a hotel, or I started to after a few years when I started to be able to afford it a little easier when I went down to visit him, because he always says I have great accommodations. It was an air up mattress on the floor in the living room. And love my dad, but when I'm have worked however long, and I'm used to going to bed at like 7 or 8 o'clock.
Yeah.
And he's not used to going to bed till like 1 a.m. and I'm trying to sleep in the middle of the living room floor. That doesn't really go very well. So it's just, I used to stay at a hotel. Now he's there's been some changes. So my little brother has moved I mean, he graduated high school and moved out, so his room is now
Open.
not occupied, so I
Yeah.
can stay there now. But
Yeah.
we were talking about that today, and he was like, "I have great accommodations," and I'm like, "They've gotten better." I mean, I still don't,
That's funny.
But
yeah.
anyway,
I
yeah.
agree. If my parents didn't have like a dedicated guest room, we definitely wouldn't stay with them and it's still a lot to stay with them because we have the 2 dogs usually with us. And so sleeping in a small bed, it's not a queen, it's a
Full.
yeah.
Yeah.
So it's tight. And then to have the 2 dogs, we always put Opie in the kennel because that's how he sleeps best, is all wrapped up, locked up.
Yeah.
That's his comfort. I don't get him. He's a weird dog. But
Sleeps best in jail.
yeah, and Millie likes to either sleep at the foot of the bed, like at our feet, she curls up, or like on the floor right next to the bed. So obviously she can't sleep at our feet in this bed because it's too small, and it's just a lot. But you also can't bring dogs to a hotel, so it's like we don't have another
Most hotels,
option. But anyways, yeah, so I get it. Everyone's house is different, and it's just not your space. Whereas like a hotel, it's pretty standard. They're usually semi-clean. No, not always, but
yeah. I mean, as long as you get one of,
it's just
as
kind of
long
like
as
a
you get
blank
some of
slate.
them. But yeah. I don't even me and a friend were talking about this the other day that I've never stayed at an Airbnb for this reason because it I know that a hotel is like constant people just coming and going and coming and going, but I also know that a hotel is designed for that and there's people on staff to clean, whereas an Airbnb I'm never really sure what's going on when I'm staying at somebody's house.
Yeah. That's why so we've used an Airbnb quite a bit because of the dogs. Like almost no hotels are dog friendly. And if they are, it's usually like service dogs or something.
Yeah.
So we've used quite a bit
that makes
of Airbnbs.
Sense.
And they will usually say on there like what their cleaning policy is.
Okay.
Even so, it still feels a little weird to me, but we don't really have another option.
Yeah. I get that. Yeah, it just feels odd to me.
Ideally, I would love to have an RV in the future, or not necessarily an RV, but like a camper that we attach to the back of the truck, and that way we do have our own space that we clean.
Yeah,
because that's always the ideal situation, is to have your own space, because everyone has different cleaning standards, and like our home gets messy. I mean, there's toys, and because we have dogs, so like it's gonna be a little messy. You have to pick it up, but it's never like dirty.
Yeah,
too dirty or gross. Versus other people's homes are sometimes dirty and gross.
Yeah, it just kind of depends on everybody's a little bit different. I mean, I obviously have a white sofa that people have made fun of me for before in the past, and people there's been comments that I've had people say like, "You must not have pets or kids," and I'm like, "Nope." Nope. And I like the white. I like the white sofa. It's
yeah, we have to have, because Millie sheds a lot, so we have dark gray couches. Now, if people come over, I lint roll them, I vacuum them,
well,
we pick up. But if it's just us at home, like the dog hair doesn't bother us. Now, if like, I've seen people with pets that just let their pets like go crazy in the house, like they'll pee somewhere and they won't clean it up.
Yeah, well,
that bothers me.
Yeah.
I'm like, that's like having a kid and you're just letting them destroy your house.
Yeah.
I don't know. That bothers me a lot. But so we like pick up after them.
Yeah.
And especially if people come over. But I still get it. Like, it's still not your space. But yeah, back to this story. I mean, I actually like laughed out loud when it got to the point where like
I realized it about halfway through. I'm like,
oh
yeah,
the premature baby out. And it's just perfect that
9 pounds.
This guy, this Redditor, works in the NICU.
Yeah.
And he's like, a baby that's 3 months premature weighs usually around 1 pound, 1 to 2 pounds, not 9 pounds.
Yeah.
So
that's
I love that he
big
called
baby
it out.
anyway.
Yeah.
Like,
that's a big baby.
I was I was a C-section. I was an emergency C-section, actually, from what I've been
Nathan.
told.
Yeah.
But I also would have felt really bad for my mom as a grown-up if I hadn't been an emergency C-section. Because I weighed over 10 pounds.
Oh my gosh.
I was a fat little baby, which nobody should probably be surprised by. Yeah. But I was a fat little baby, and it was
I know. I was premature. So I was smaller because I think I was a month and maybe a little over a month premature. And I gave my mom preeclampsia and toxemia, so she was in the hospital for quite a while.
Dang.
So
No.
happy Mother's Day, Mom. Sorry.
Happy Mother's Day! Yay!
But yeah, Nathan was a C-section as well. I think because he was too big.
Yeah. I don't think it was
I don't
because I
really
was
know all
too
the
big.
reasons,
There was
but-
some complication that happened when
Yeah.
I was there.
Pregnancy is scary for a lot
There's
of
a
people.
lot that can go
like
wrong with
I
it,
get scared a lot. Like we don't know if we want kids or not. We want to enjoy our marriage first and
Yeah.
then make a decision for ourselves. But on my mom's side of the family, the pregnancies are scary. Like after what my mom went through, my grandma went through.
Yeah.
Well, and I know back in like
There's a
our
lot of
grandparents' time, miscarriages, things like that were more common.
Yeah.
But even with, technology advancing, like it really makes me sad to look at, especially like the Black maternal death rate.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, in this day and age, we're
Yeah.
still like, it is so sad to
It's a
be a
problem.
woman
Yeah.
in this society and have to deal with like the doctors and things, because current medicine is not made for women; it's made for men.
Yeah.
There are so many things that
Well,
are based on
lots of things are, and that's just unfortunately the way that it's
yeah.
been.
Anyways, I have lots of soapboxes about that I
Yeah.
won't indulge right now. But yeah, so those are my 3 Am I the Asshole stories, and I liked reading all of them. Any other comments before we move on to fun facts?
I don't think so.
Okay.
I think we that was fun though.
That was fun.
Yeah.
I would like to do that again.
Yeah, we'll have to do that again when we don't have something random.
I love reading about other people's problems.
Yeah. It's next time
I
what
like being nosy.
Next time what I think we need to try, and this is going to be harder to do
Uh-huh.
because it's going to be a little more difficult to weed out the weird ones.
Yeah.
Is I think we need to try like not reading them beforehand. And
Yeah.
just going from that, but that might be a little difficult to do with some of the
Yeah,
things that I've
because
seen in them
I was
before.
scrolling through and I was like, some of these I would not want to read.
Yeah,
On air. I know we don't have that many listeners, but
yeah,
I was like, I don't know if I want to read that one. So it did take me a couple minutes to like weed out the really bad ones.
yeah,
But
yeah.
it would be funny to do a first reaction. So I guess next
Maybe
time.
we need to do a different. Maybe we need to do a different Reddit and do it as
Yeah.
a first reaction instead of a.
Yeah. Or
Maybe
we
something that's not
each-
quite as could be a little
Yeah.
less
Yeah.
controversial.
But
or-
I like doing this. So
Yeah.
yeah, we'll have to do something similar again.
yeah,
But cool.
I think this is time for the terrible sounder. Yep, there it is.
Yep.
Okay, so what is your fact for the week?
So mine, I like this one, and I looked up what these things look like, and they're really cute. In the Victorian era, men with mustaches could use special teacups. These special mustache teacups had guards on them that prevented the man's mustache from dipping into their warm cup of tea. And I looked them up, and they're so cute.
Is it like just like a colander on the top?
Kind of. It's got like a little guard with just like a little...
Like a
I'll post
sippy
a
like a
picture.
sippy cup almost.
Yeah, kind
Yeah.
of, yeah. Mm-hmm. It was really cute. I really liked them.
Okay, so I have two that kind of go together, which
Okay.
are kind of comical. So these are from the Today Show, from today.com. So I guess that would be NBC. But it says the longest English word is 189,819 letters long. I don't even know how you make a word that long and what
Yeah.
it would be.
Yeah.
But the other one that kind of goes along with this, because
Mm-hmm.
these are just short, quick things, is the fear of long words
Mm-hmm.
is called, and I'm going to put it at the bottom of the screen here, because I've got to butcher this, but it's hippopotamonstrioquipedelophobia.
Interesting. I
want
wonder
me
if
to
the
spell it?
first part of that is like
Hippo?
something with the hippocampus in the brain.
Yeah, I don't know.
Maybe that has something to do with
It
it.
almost looks like hippopotamus. It does. It's HIPPIPOTOM. Yeah, it's really close to hippopotamus. But that is what I just spelled is like a quarter of the word.
You
Again,
know what I'm still mad at is I think it was
I don't know
4.
where it's going to be on the screen, so we'll just Whatever.
In like 4th grade, I got second in the spelling bee, and it made me so mad. And I don't remember the word I actually lost on because I blacked it out because I was mad in the moment. But I remember training for it and going through like different spelling cards and flashcards and stuff. The one I could never spell, onomatopoeia.
Oh,
I still can't spell it.
Yeah. I wouldn't have a clue.
That one made me so mad. And like I remember that to this day, but I don't remember the word that I lost on.
I wouldn't have a clue. I was never good at spelling. I always did terrible on spelling tests. Which I don't.
I think that was one of my best subjects.
I guess that was back. You were probably a little different because you're a little bit younger than me. But me as a kid, the spelling tests is we had computers, but you didn't have the computers like
we
you do
did
now.
paper. Yeah.
Did
you do like paper timed spelling tests? That's what we did.
Yeah. So it was not.
Yeah, because we're not that far apart. As far as like technology wise, I think it was probably very similar. It wasn't until I got to the end of high school that we had one classroom that had laptops, and it was like a science classroom.
Okay.
And that was it. Otherwise, it was
never had a classroom that had laptops.
Yeah, and that was the only one. And I think that was literally my senior year.
We had computer labs.
Yeah.
From even when I was a little
yes,
kid, we had computer labs.
And computers in the library, but that was it.
But I mean, it wasn't. I mean, I didn't graduate high school, and
like
actually, the year that I graduated high school was the year that the original iPhone came out. So
really,
yeah,
I remember that having a sliding phone until I think my freshman year of high school. I got my first smartphone, but
I had a smartphone because I had a BlackBerry.
Yeah, and I am technically Gen Z. I'm like right on the cusp, depending on what researcher says, like if it's 97 or 2000, like I'm right there. I call myself a zillennial because I'm kind of both. I have traits of both.
Yeah.
But I feel like I was right on the verge of like the class or two after me did have iPads and stuff in the classrooms, but I didn't. So it's kind of close.
Yeah.
But
a
lot of the stuff we did was paper.
Everything I did was on paper. I mean, like in high school, we had our computers and stuff at home. Yeah. Like I had a computer.
Now I would go to like the computer lab and like type up essays and stuff.
Yeah.
But a lot of it, like I would start it in my notebook. But because they did teach us like the MLA format, Times New Roman 12. They taught us how to do essays on the computer, but we didn't do that in class. That was like homework assignments that you had to go to the computer lab for.
Yeah, we would go to the computer lab every once in a while to learn how to do that stuff, and then then we would go.
And in college was the first time that like I had a laptop that I brought to class with me.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, because my laptop in college was...
And even still, I took a lot of notes on paper my freshman and sophomore year.
Yeah, I did never take my laptop to class, I don't think. I mean, I had it, but I did never
all
take
the
it
time,
to class.
junior and senior year.
Yeah.
So.
That was the first laptop I ever had, was when I went to college.
And
we had just a piece, like I just had a tower, like a desktop computer at home in my bedroom and stuff, but...
I think I had an HP laptop my first 2 years of school, and that's why I didn't take it to class because it was so bulky. And then I finally got a Mac, and then I brought it to class because it's much lighter. So
yeah, I'm not a Mac person. We've discussed this.
Yeah, I know. I love them.
But each to their own.
Their own.
Yeah, to each their own. Each to their own. However you want to say that. But
anyways,
I think.
Anything else?
I don't think so. I think that's about it for this week. Thanks for watching, guys. Thanks for having fun with us. Hopefully you enjoyed. Don't forget to like, subscribe, comment, and join us on Instagram at insufficient_friends. And we usually try to post something like behind the scenes-y-ish or something from there every week. So just interact with us. We're bored. And there's only like 5 of you, so...
We're lonely. If you don't talk to us, we're going to move in with you, like the mother-in-law story we read.
Yes, we will come and find you, and we will move in.
No, we won't. Disclaimer, we won't.
You've been warned. Okay. Anyway, don't forget to like, subscribe, and we'll talk to you guys next week.
Bye.